Adam,
Mm-hmm.
don't talk to the guests.
What have I told you about talking directly to the guest?
What
You
did I
ask me
s-
the question, and
what
then I'll ask the guest the
you
question.
whisper it to me, and I'll ask.
Write it on the page, and I will ask it. But don't talk directly to the guest.
You
Don't
should
look at him either.
You
Do
Don't
not
even
look
look
at
at
the
him.
guest.
Stop.
Don't even think about him.
If you
I
say
swear
Chris,
to God, if you have
yeah.
a bowl of salsa there right now, I'm gonna be so mad.
Are you guys eating salsa without me?
We don't have to be young to get your head right. If there's a move and you're looking for something new, just keep an open mind. Now
Hey, Steve,
Hey, Adam.
how the hell are you?
I'm great. How are you?
It's been a minute.
That's what the cool kids say.
Oh, dude.
I was Chris.
Thanks
Chris.
for making it
I heard-
completely uncool
Yeah,
by
we-
saying that's what the cool kids say.
We heard.
And
I hear.
right back to zero.
Yeah. Should we start over? I kind of like that Chris laughed.
I kind of did too. I kind of like that there's a little giggle on there. And you're like, wait, is there somebody else there?
Let's just bring him in.
That's right.
Hey, everyone! Welcome,
Yeah.
Chris Koncki, owner of Mama's Boy Salsa, to the podcast. We're gonna do this backwards.
Yeah. Hi, Chris.
Hey guys, super happy to be on. I really appreciate you guys having me.
I'm super happy to talk salsa.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got
we
plenty of
don't-
salsa
we-
to talk.
Yeah, we do a lot of drink talking.
Yes.
Awesome.
We do. I'm actually drinking one of our sponsors' bourbon right now, Few Spirits.
Nice.
And it is, damn it, it is good. But we're usually talking beer. We're usually talking some sort of spirit. Steve's always drinking a Manhattan.
Yeah.
It's always drink talk, and it's cool to switch it up and talk very specifically about salsa.
Before we do that, can I just shout out my Mob Craft Woo Brew that I'm putting down right now?
Yeah.
Please
of course.
do.
We always want to know who's drinking what.
Yeah.
They're awesome stuff. I got a couple sours from them. I got an Oddball. I love that they're Oddball. The name of it is Oddball, and it's their most like normal beer that they
Right.
have because
I
all
know.
the other ones are so crazy. So that's pretty fantastic.
It is. I think
They kind of nailed it with that one, I think.
they did. That's a good beer.
So good.
Steve, what
I-
are you drinking?
Manhattan.
Called it.
Yeah. Few
Oh,
spirits.
are you doing the Few Rye?
Yeah. Always
Nice.
until I run out,
And then you got to go get more.
and I get more. Then I get more. So, So thanks to Few, who is a sponsor of the podcast, along with Transfer Pizzeria Cafe, Cost Stereophones, and who am I missing?
Our very brand new
Brand new.
sponsor of the podcast,
Yes.
Indeed Brewing.
Indeed Brewing.
Nice.
Welcoming
Indeed
all of
Brewing.
them to the show.
Nice.
Yep. It's absolutely fantastic. We're so excited to have them as our brand new official beer of the podcast.
Love them.
Don't worry, Chris. I will walk an Indeed over to you.
Dude, I'll have a jar of salsa and a bag of chips waiting, man.
Oh, fantastic. We'll just sit out on the driveway and wave at the cars going by as we drink our beer and eat salsa.
Dude,
And no one will even care.
I care.
Steve.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve. You're invited, by the way.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
Steve, you should definitely be there too.
'Cause
You'll
I'll-
have to be in the street, but you can be there.
I
I tried to get ahead of that one for us, Adam.
yeah.
Good work. Very smart. Very
I got
smart, Chris.
I got your back, Steve.
All right. Thank
And
you.
Adam.
I appreciate it. So, Chris, I should say the reason we're making these jokes is because for the first time in the history of the podcast, everyone who is on the podcast is currently in Greendale, Wisconsin.
But not together.
Not together.
We're in Greendale in our houses.
We're podcast
Talking.
distancing.
Yes.
That has got to be a record of some kind.
Yeah, I think it
I'm
is.
sure it is. I'm sure it's some sort of podcasting record.
Well, good news that no one fact checks on this podcast, so it is a record. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Chris, I like how, where, when, why? What's the backstory on you and this Mama's Boy Salsa? Like, I'll just say this: I I have purchased Mama's Boy Salsa
Ooh.
from Ray's,
Yeah.
and it was on a whim. Like, I saw it and I'm like, looks pretty cool and it looks good. I'm gonna buy some. And they had chips there too.
You know, mhm.
So
What
Steve, you
what
know
kind
what
of
I'm gonna
chips did
say.
you go with? Did you go with the donkey chips or did you go the Hernandez chips?
they
hopefully.
weren't donkey chips, and I only know that because we have like 37 bags of donkey chips downstairs right now. We love them.
Nice.
We love
Do
them.
you? So was it a clear bag with a green label on it?
Yes.
That is a brand that I sell to Ray's Butcher Shop as well.
I love those chips.
Really?
They are fantastic. I drive
Damn.
45 minutes to Delavan to pick them up so that I can sample them. So it's just a premium salsa with a premium chip when I'm sampling them at the farmers market. So
Yeah.
it's a great chip. It's funny to think that a tortilla chip is that flavorful and good because there's so many that are similar. But yeah, I'm definitely a huge fan of those for sure, and I love donkey chips too. So
Oh,
no hating on the other brands. I love them all. Yeah, it's kind of it's a very crazy story. Actually, I like to go back to how my wife and I met because that really sets the stage for how our families work together in order to um, allow our family to function, smoothly and properly, but also really give an idea of how we work together too, and why we work together. My wife's from Monroe, Wisconsin, and that's about 2 hours away from UW Milwaukee. And when I was 20 years old, she came over and started going to school at UW Milwaukee, and we started dating. And we had been together for a couple of years, and we had an apartment in Cudahy then. And Sam's mom invited me to be an assistant manager at the Culvers that she was a general manager and part owner of in New Glarus, Wisconsin.
oh wow.
So she wanted me to come out there, and my wife Sam was still going to school at UW Milwaukee. So what we did was we got rid of our apartment in Cudahy. She moved in with my parents, and I moved in with her parents for 9 months. And I got the best preview to
wow.
marriage that I could, and I'm super grateful for that because I have amazing mother and father-in-law, and I know that situation doesn't always work out that way. So super grateful for that. But that's so while we were working there, her mom was general manager, and Sam was working and finishing up school. So she came over after that, and then she ended up working with us because she had worked for Culver since she was 14.
Okay.
So she's got it, so she's been involved with them for a long time. And then her dad would come in. He's a drafter for burners. And what happened is he would come in during the weekend, and he would boil out the fryers and stuff, and then he'd work in the kitchen with all three of us at the same time. So it was a whole family working to serve people at Culver's in New Glarus for different days, that on the weekend and stuff. So it was a crazy time of working together with her family and feeling comfortable in that scenario. So you're like, well, so are they involved in the Mama's Boy Salsa? Well, my mother-in-law is, and she helps us chop and just helps us with regular business throughout to improve it. But then what happened was my mom and I made a really good salsa together that we just happened to like add a little salt here, a little lime there, and we just developed it for ourselves and just put it in jars and put it in the refrigerator downstairs. And when we wanted one, just pull a pint out of the downstairs and go to town. So we just did it for ourselves, and then other friends and family were trying it, and they're like, "Man, this is really good." I'd
Yeah.
like to try some more of this. So we ended up, we're like, we gave it out as gifts for Christmas one year, and somebody's like, "You need to sell this," and I was like, "Well, my mom's just made like a ton. I'm probably angering her at this point by asking her to continue to make free salsa for people," and so
Sure.
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
like, "You know what? We'd like to buy it. I don't know your prices or whatever, but if you could just make one, we'd be happy to purchase it." So it kind of started based on people just kind of trying to push me to you know to get it in their hands because they enjoyed it so much. And I think once you taste a food that you really like, if somebody can duplicate it and make it for you a couple times, you have that accessibility. I think it's something that is a great way to get them to do something about that. And that's what people did for us. They got us to create an LLC and say, let's just do it on the side of our jobs on the weekends and see what we can do.
Yeah.
And now I'm a year and a half into doing this full time, and I've never
Oh
been
my
happier
gosh.
in a job in my life.
That's awesome.
Well, and that's so cool too because where it started, where that demand started, you also kind of have that point of pride
Oh,
where
definitely.
you have people who are like, "Oh yeah, I got this really good salsa. You've got to try it." And they try it, they love it, and they go, "Oh my god, where do you get something like that?" And you're like, "Well, it's kind of exclusive. I know a guy who makes it. I know the owner. It's not a big deal."
Yeah.
Right.
And then and then it's just kind of like word of mouth builds from there, which is it's so exciting to hear that. And then you start getting randos, and then you have Steve wandering around creeping people out at Ray's butcher shop. Like, hey, what chips should I buy for this?
I'll take
You
some
know,
beef jerky and
the age old
salsa.
tale.
Yeah.
It's the
Well,
age old tale.
Age-old
I think
tale.
that's I think that's a really important point, though. I think the pride in knowing that source is fantastic. That's what I love about restaurants. If you know a great restaurant, it's awesome to recommend. But I mean, it's just it's nice to be exclusive like that, but also to be a part of it. A gentleman that I met while I was working at Mayfair Mall, his name's Dennis Alstein. He he and I just became friends, and we're talking and stuff, and very short amount of time at this point. And I said, "Hey, come out to my car for a second. I want to show you something." And he said, "Okay." So
Oh, you're
we
gonna kill me, aren't you?
yeah. Well, I was like, like,
Can you,
are we?
can you just lay in
Is
the
this
trunk for a minute?
drugs or yeah? Oh, yeah, right. Can you just lay in the trunk for a minute? Exactly. Yeah. Like
Oh
no
God.
big deal. This
Well,
it's
it
only
got
be
dark
weird
quick.
if you make it weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had him come out to the car, and I had a cooler in there. And what I was doing was, people would order salsa from me while I was at the mall, and I'd have no labels on the jars, and it was just friends, And they're like, "Hey, I'll take 2 miles and an extra hot," and I'd walk down the mall, and then the next store that I had friends at would be like, "Hey, I need a mild tomorrow, Chris. Is that cool?" So it's like it was
Awesome.
like a weird kind of underground thing. But then when I took him out there, I said, "Yeah," I said, "My mom makes salsa and I sell it." And he goes, "What are you going to call it? Mama's boy salsa?" And I'm a Polish guy making a Mexican influenced salsa, and I'm like, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to call it. I put it in a T-shirt that looks like the exact same one I'm wearing today. So the day that he named it is the shirt that I'm wearing today. So
You haven't
he
taken it
he
off
loves to
since.
tell people that. And yeah, I wear
Yeah.
the same one every day. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But that's the thing. He's got pride in helping us grow, and talking about how he was a part of naming it. And every time somebody goes, "Oh man, this Mama's Boy salsa is really good, Dennis. You should try it." He's sitting there with the biggest smile on his face, going, "I know, I named it."
I
Yeah,
named
that's
it.
one of those. I helped name it, right?
Hey, absolutely, and he did. So I will never tell anybody that he didn't.
That's really cool. And
Yeah.
we got the backstory on Mama's Boy because I was 100% gonna go. So Chris, are you a Mama's Boy?
Of course you would.
But
I'm
I
a
don't have to now.
You know what though? That's still a good question because I'm a 36-year-old mama's boy, and if you tasted the food that my mom made throughout my life, like I have, yeah, I think you'd be fine with claiming that as well. Because
Yeah, I
that's
am
ridiculous.
also a proud Mama's Boy.
You're fed well too, huh?
I very well. Yes. Yes. It's always funny. Whenever my mom always hands out the recipes that she makes,
Awesome.
and probably 99 out of 100 times they never turn out as well as the way my mom makes them. But 100% of the time, my rebut is, well, that's because you didn't make it with enough love.
Oh,
Yep. And that's exactly why I am a mama's boy.
Yeah.
That just sums up the reason I'm a mama's boy right there.
Can I tell you a conspiracy theory that I have about moms?
Yes, please do.
oh
Wow.
boy.
I,
Yeah.
so this is moms and recipes. So if they gave you the exact recipe and the exact touch of how they did it, they aren't making that special stuff that makes them smile when they see you happy for it. You know what I mean? So I think there's a conspiracy theory where they just do one ingredient different or one process different just to mess us up so that it can't be the same.
Oh, that is so deep and so
Yeah,
true.
I think
And
you're
then
right. It's like,
I have a feeling this is that moms everywhere are gonna make us pull this podcast
yeah,
down.
there'll be a revolt.
You guys got
Don't
shut
you
down.
dare tell anybody that.
Yeah, I can, like,
Because
oh,
that
really?
is so true.
Yeah.
I guarantee that's true.
So chocolate chips and meatloaf, really? That's how it goes?
Yeah,
just do it,
that's how you
honey.
did it? Huh? I
Just-
don't taste any chocolate in this.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, I'm just curious. You're making salsa with your mom. What did the making of the salsa? Where did the making of the salsa come from? Like, just was it just a fun
you could have
thing
made
you guys
anything.
you guys started doing, or like, did you always enjoy cooking? Do you enjoy cooking? Like, what even got
And
you started on making salsa?
uh, I think it's my mom's culinary like knowledge. It's not it's not it's not academic, but it's just the hands-on understanding of what flavors work well together. So you know, um, we would go to when I was in college, we would go to Botanis Mexican restaurant
Oh boy.
down on Fifth and National.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know it well.
We will talk this one out because I am a huge fan. Um, and when we would go down there, we would get chips and salsa. And if you've had their salsa, it's so fresh and so good.
Yep.
And I would get it to go in like the old school Cub Foods brown paper bag,
Yep.
and then like a pint of salsa that you couldn't get anywhere else. You can't get that in the store. It's either too tomatoey or too metallic with like how much preservative they put in there. So it was just like one of those things where like every time we went, I'd get $13 worth of salsa, 15 years ago. So my mom's going, "You paid $13 for chips and salsa?" And I'm like, I can't get this anywhere else. Just like you said, the exclusive, right?
Yep.
So that's between their rainbow margaritas, their enchilada soup, and their salsa, I don't care what else is there. I'd be there all day.
It's just so damn good.
Yeah.
Great. Now I'm hungry. I knew this was gonna happen. My
Hey,
mouth
man.
is watering for chips and
Just-
salsa.
Hey, yeah, walk over to Chris's house and get some.
Yep, I'll just wander over in the dark.
We'll
knock on his
we'll
door.
talk we'll talk for
Hey,
about 10 minutes and you just
Mama's
catch
boy.
right in.
Yeah.
He'll gently toss rocks
Funny thing-
to your window.
Funny thing about being called Mama's Boy like that, when I'm in downtown Greendale, there will be people, "Hey, Mama's Boy,"
Yeah.
So it's not
You
Chris.
could be called
a
worse.
lot of times.
It's honestly, I think it's kind of endearing.
Yeah,
I
I
don't-
think it's hilarious to be honest with you.
Okay, so I just remembered. I just wanted to mention one thing really quick because earlier you said at farmers markets. So does
Mhm.
that mean you're out and about at a bunch of different farmers markets throughout the summer?
Oh yeah. So and we don't get too crazy. I know there's some farm like in the farmers market scene. When I talk to other people, other vendors that are almost professional farmers marketers,
Mhm.
they go all around the area, and we try to stay pretty centralized because, to be honest with you, we're pretty well taken care of in Greendale and Greenfield at both of those farmers markets.
Mhm.
Actually, this Sunday is the first start of Greenfield's farmers market at Conkle Park. That's from 10 to 2. And then on Saturdays, in the beginning of July or late June, actually, Greendale is open from 8 to noon on Saturdays. So we do those two, and then we do Milligers every other Sunday now. So that's in Caledonia area. So and then we'll do some different stuff throughout the area throughout the summer. Like we did Taco Fest at Summerfest grounds last year, which is super fun, and it was totally different. We did Cinco de Mayo Fest. We did a lot of different events that just were kind of one-offs, but were super fun to do. So I get my hands into a lot of different things just because I enjoy something new every day. So yeah, if there's a good event that other people have told me like be a part of this, I'm in. Milwaukee is a perfect example. At downtown, 150 vendors. You can't get much bigger than that.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's a super fun one.
That's cool. I probably walked by you at the farmers markets.
I was
in
just
fact.
thinking that too. Like I've gone to the Greendale one so many times, but I'm usually kind of just wandering around, not paying attention to anything. And my wife is like zooming through and picking up asparagus and getting all this other stuff. And so I probably like maybe saw it but wasn't seeing it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
I think
I'm
I
aloof
think
when I
that's
go to
actually
farmers markets, I guess.
You just
I
buy
think
the
that's actually
churros.
That's a good point. I do buy the churros. I'm a
he
sucker for a churro.
knows you well, huh?
No, seriously. I think the one time he saw me at the farmer's market, I was like, get the hell out of the way. I need a churro.
No, it was at the domes.
Yeah,
You,
that's right. It
you
was at
had
the
like a
domes. It
churro in
was at
each
the domes.
hand. You were like
That was
4.
different. I was
Yeah.
holding one for a friend who didn't show up.
Right.
Hey, shout out to Lopez Bakery, I believe is who you got that from, right?
Yep, it's Lopez Bakery. Yeah, and
Yeah, man.
they're always so sweet
hmm
because I have this like childlike giddiness about getting a churro, and they're always like, "Okay, buddy,
Yeah.
just get the churro. Calm down."
How much are your churros? I'll have 14.
But
I'll take the rest of this
Yeah.
bag right
Can you
here.
put the
hey,
rest in?
guys.
Yeah.
I wanted to make a special note about what you guys said there. I think that's something that vendors struggle with, especially during times where COVID is present, and
Mhm.
we're trying to figure out how to stay safe for everybody. There's a lot of times where I have people who will like stand like 20 feet away and try to look at the stuff that I have on my table, and this is before COVID or anything, and all I would tell people is that these people want to have conversations, and they're okay with you saying no. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times people feel obligated. I know I do actually, but but knowing these vendors and knowing what they go through in order to get these products out to these people, the biggest compliment you can give them is just, or biggest thing you can do for them rather, is just ask them questions. Check it out. See what if you really enjoyed the salsa, Steve. I have free samples every time that I go out to the farmers markets when it's available. When the farmers markets don't have non-sampling farmers markets,
Mhm.
and so. But then you tried it and you liked it, and that's something that's free to tell whether you want to purchase something in the future. Whereas you go to a grocery store, you don't get that option. So I guess my point is just use those resources and ask those questions, because those people are happy to have those conversations.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a really really good point too. And I mean, if you're there hunkered down at um at a farmer's market or a local event, clearly you have a passion for this stuff.
hmm
And people who have passion for whatever they're selling are the people who are going to have no problem talking about it with you.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Right.
it's honestly, even if you're somebody who isn't great at conversation or small talk, ask them about their product. Ask them. It's the icebreaker on a table waiting for you that you could
That
just kind of chat somebody up about. And who's going to be like, "Oh, I don't know, just buy some."
right,
No,
right.
they're gonna be really passionate and excited about the thing
Yeah.
that they're selling out there.
Chris,
So it's perfect. It's one of those really awesome things.
is it equally okay if the person that does come up to your table or your booth or whatever, and they've got like churro cinnamon powder all over their lips?
No,
And their
it doesn't matter what the end of
and
that
their-
question is.
and their hands. Just wondering. I'm asking for a friend, actually.
Still no.
Oh,
So,
I had to back away from the mic. I was laughing so hard.
Um,
I didn't know. I honestly didn't know where it was going at first.
so, how I've got kind of a multi-part question, but
Mhm.
what's been sort of the oh shit, I didn't expect this when I went into this full time, and what either from a challenging perspective or a really super awesome perspective, and then with that, like what sort of how does the future look for the company?
Well, I think, just the fortitude to stick in there. I see a lot of people who have a lot of great ideas, but the initial rejection or the initial success isn't as broad as they thought it would be. So I think really cultivating your product and really being, sure about how you're presenting it, and following through, and being consistent. I think being consistent gets your message out so much better than, trying to throw out 100 different things. I think you do 3 consistent things, it's just as impactful as doing 10 random things. You know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
because people just know where you're coming from, they know how to find you, they know where, what to expect. Um, and then, so far, last year we grew um, 300%
Oh my gosh.
in a year that I needed to make it happen for our family. I quit my job as a catering sales director, and decided to do this full time. My wife works full time, and then we have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. So making it work, living in Greendale and working off of one income is super difficult. The odd thing is that in these chaotic times, I feel like we're the most prepared people that we could possibly be, because we've been budgeting, we've been, grinding, and every day is a fun day, but it's always hard work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I think it's the difficult part and the fun part of owning your own business, is that you get your hands on everything, but your hands are on everything. So
Yeah.
you need to make it work. So yeah.
Adam and I were just talking about that the other day. Um, just the the level of perseverance you have to have for your like the majority of people who want to start something.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
It's no few people talk about it because it's not always the glitz and glamour. But I think what you said could not be more true in every aspect.
That perseverance is huge though, because here's another great example. As I was talking about setting up and how long and everything, you know, Greenfield is also one of the windiest markets I've ever been a part of. So when stuff gets crazy, it can get crazy. So Lopez Bakery, their whole hot table of stuff, it was so windy that it turned the table over and took their tent and threw it into the middle of the section of on Conco Park
Oh
that
my
you walk
gosh.
around. So
Were the churros okay?
the churros,
This is important, Chris.
I don't know if I should tell you this, Adam, but a couple churros were lost
There was,
that day.
and weirdly, there was some guy
Eating out of the
pushed his
grass.
Sugar all over
pushed
his
his
face.
2-year-old child out of the way
Yeah, right.
to pick them up off the ground, and darting his head back and forth to see if anybody noticed him picking up off the ground, and then acted casually
How's
the
that?
rest of the time he was there, whilst munching on grass and churro.
Yeah.
Well, the crazy thing is, for our tent, we've lost 2 tents to wind and rain.
Jeez.
And the one that was at Greenfield, when we lost that one, that jumped up. One of the legs of the tent jumped up and then just started scraping the side of my parents' van. And when I'm trying to convince them that it was a good idea for me to quit my job to
Oh,
do
boy.
a business, and then explain to them that we probably did, so
Yeah.
pretty significant
Guys, it's
damage on the
scratching the
van.
side of the van. No, this is gonna work out really, really well. I swear.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I'm gonna quit my
so
job. I'm
I
just
let my mom handle that one pretty well.
Yeah. So looking forward, I know this is been a tough question for people we've had on the podcast, but sort of how does the future look? And it doesn't have to be from a sales perspective. It can just be even from what you're planning to do with the company, with the product, etc.
I think for the future, there's so many options. One thing I haven't mentioned to you guys yet is that we bought a production facility in Cudahy about 6 months ago. It comes with a sad story, but I like to tell it because I like to talk about the memory of my uncle. My uncle Mike Shimetta was a dentist on Packard Avenue, and when he was driving in Amherst on Thanksgiving Day 2 years ago, uh, he was driving through an overpass, and a truck lost control and landed on top of his car while he was driving.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, he and his brother-in-law both survived the accident, but unfortunately, my uncle never regained, um, uh, you know, uh, brain activity. So it was a really tough time. He's my godfather, my mom's younger brother, and my dad's best friend. So it was a crazy, thing that you'd never expect. But the reason that I talk about it is because my aunt Tina was selling the building, and my mom and I were looking for a production facility for ourselves. So right now we're in the process of doing construction for production in the back, and then having a small retail shop in the front, and then doing like a taster's market. So if there's something that like I said, that grocery stores don't sample as much of like different sauces and different things that way, unless you just happen to run into a day that they're sampling a lot. But what we would like to do is have more of a taster's market. So if there's something that you're like, man, I wonder what this $7 bottle of sauce tastes like, I can have you taste it first so that you're not making purchases that you don't enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
If you do enjoy it, then you know what to buy the next time that you're coming to.
Yeah,
So
feels less like winging it
yeah,
and
totally.
more like an informed decision.
Well, especially in like those
That's
meat
cool.
and cheese shops too, you see some like amazing like products, and you're like, I really wonder how much that or what that tastes like.
Is it worth it? Yeah.
Is it worth it? That's a great way to say
We'll find
And
out today. I'm just
yeah,
it.
Adam.
I'd love to. I need a little more construction done before that happens,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Okay, fine. Fine. We'll give you the construction time. Yeah, but 100% keep us in the loop when that opens up. It would be really fun to do another episode on site, maybe while we're trying stuff.
The extra hot. Yeah.
That's what everybody on a podcast wants to listen to, right? Us chewing on things
On
and
chips and
telling you
churros.
how it tastes.
I'm
we
in,
lost
man.
Adam.
Yeah.
He found the churros. Damn it.
So if people want to connect with you guys, I mean, I think the website's probably one of the best places because you can also check like where to buy.
Yeah, absolutely. www.mamasboysalsa.com. Do people still say www? All right. So
They do
anyway,
now.
Sometimes,
yeah, right.
yeah, sometimes.
old 36-year-old guys do.
Yep, right.
So, but mamasboysalsa.com, and then our Facebook page is pretty active, and then we also have Instagram as well. You just search for Mama's Boy Salsa. There's not another one, thankfully. So yeah, you could go through those channels, and we really like to do fun stuff. Like during Packer season, we'll do like contests, like guess how many yards Aaron Rodgers will throw for, and if you happen to be the closest, then we have like a half-gallon jug of salsa for you, bag of chips. We have our smoking teas marinade that we have. We have hot sauces out of Madison from Mandy's Mood Foods. We have Bloody Mary mix from West Dallas Cheese and Sausage Shop, and then we have the Hernandez chips out of Delavan. So we have quite a few options, but yeah. So
That Adam,
Damn.
I would not hear from Adam for weeks if he had a half gallon of salsa at his house.
Or you would hear from me every day.
Or
Hey,
yeah,
guess who's got a half gallon of salsa?
hey, what are you doing? Yeah,
What's up?
you know what I'm doing.
Hey, what are you doing? I'm eating chips and salsa in your face.
Adam's gonna come over tomorrow with a wagon.
Actually, you know what? Do you mind if I just describe them to you guys so that I can give you guys an idea of what to fill your carts with when you come
Yeah,
over?
that's exactly where I was going. I
Yeah.
was like, which one should I get as somebody who can appreciate heat, but maybe doesn't want it all the time?
Yeah, well, I think heat's important in salsa. I think for different factors, I think we look at it differently than most salsas do. For the mild, we have a nice like lime flavor with that. So on on a hot summer day, it's super refreshing. I could smash a whole jar of that by myself, pretty easy. So that one's really good, but it's a fresh salsa too. So you got to keep in mind that crunch of the onions and the peppers between your teeth. So you got some like really good texture with it as well. I don't like onions or tomatoes, if you can believe that. But if they're blended up in like a pizza sauce or a salsa, then like sign me up. I'm
Game
in.
on.
I'm in on
Yeah.
that. Right. For the hot, that one dances on your tongue a little bit because there you get the cilantro, the lime, and the salt, kind of all working together at once, and it's got habanero and jalapeno in there, so you get a slight bite on the tongue right away from the jalapeno, and then the habanero. The beautiful part about that pepper is that it really builds as you eat it. So if you keep working on that hot salsa, you can really get some good heat out of that. But it also dissipates really quick too. So if you take a bite, it can really you get a good heat level, and then it just go. It's not. It almost looks extreme, and then it just goes down and goes away. So it's really nice for that one. And then for the extra hot, I actually start sweating a little bit when I eat that one, but it's not a crazy hot at all. That one's a builder. A lot of times, our complaint with hot salsa is that a lot of times people like to burn your tongue, and then there's no flavor behind it. Ours is flavor first, and then the habanero builds in your system, and we have a good amount of habanero compared to the hot. So that can really get to the level that you're looking for, but just have some great flavor behind it. That you can actually enjoy what you're the salsa that you're eating too. So there you go.
There's the passion right there, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
Adam,
Steven.
this was a great episode. This was super fun. Chris,
This was a great episode.
yeah, Chris, thank you so much for coming on. Love the stories, and love what you're doing, and best wishes for.
Love the hustle, man.
We love the hustle.
Love the hustle. Get
Thank you
Mama's
so much.
Boy salsa, mild, hot, extra hot. I'm gonna recommend the hot. Personally, as somebody who's not a huge fan of spice, but likes to dabble.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously try all three.
Yeah.
Don't take my word for it. Try all of them. Damn it.
I'm
Red
gonna go
Hot
hot
Great.
next. I know I went mild the first time.
Okay. All right,
I'm gonna go
that's
hot
good to know.
next.
That's where I'm gonna start with hot. Actually, I think.
Cool.
I really appreciate you guys having me on. To be honest with you, like you never know who you're going to talk to and how it's going to be and how fun it's going to be and stuff.
Yeah.
And had a great time. And I think just experiencing different people and growing your community and stuff, especially right now, is huge. So I think I'm grateful to be in the presence of a couple of Greendale guys doing cool things on podcasts. So thank you very,
Hell
very much for
yeah.
having me, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Thanks, Chris.
Hey, Adam.
Hey, Steve.
And now,
Black Belt Theater. We're up and running.